The biggest realization that I've made when it comes to day trading and trading on the markets is that even once you have a winning strategy, you will never know when that strategy is going to work. So, because of that, understanding that we don't know when the strategy is going to work, every single time that our pattern or our confluences occur, you have to take the trade. Even if it looks dodgy, even if it looks like it's not making sense, even if it's looking like there's a lack of volume, for whatever reason, that there's a confluence that's telling you not to take the trade, or whatever reason that it's giving you confidence not to take the trade, even though the trade clearly ticks all the boxes when it comes to your requirements for making a trade. Ultimately, you're going to have to take that trade. Regardless of what you personally think or feel about it, you have to take the trade. Because I've realized one thing after all this time is that you never know. There's so many times, like with my strategy, where I usually identify double tops with double bottoms on key levels. There's so many times where I'll see the double top form and the break past the resistance, the candle closing past the resistance, it'll close in the middle of a range. And I'll think because of that, I shouldn't take the trade because there's probably going to be a large pullback. But more often than not, I've seen price continue moving up or moving down. And it'll go maybe 60, 70, 100 pips. Maybe the drawdown was only like 2-3 pips. But I didn't take the trade because it didn't look right. Even though it ticked all the boxes for my confluences, it was at a key level. My pattern came out. It broke past the resistance. It closed above the resistance. It was a breakout. All the candles were moving in my direction. But still, I did not take the trade because it did not form the way that I wanted it to. Maybe when the pattern was forming, 5 or 6 candles had to close before it finally happened to close above the resistance. And because of that, in my head, I'm like, there's a lack of volume. There's a lack of momentum. Because why would it take so long for price to close above that resistance when the whole time waiting along, it's been closing slightly below, slightly rejecting. And then maybe after 3 or 4 candles on the 30-minute time frame, it finally closes above. But because I saw it struggling to do that and to close, I've decided not to take the trade because I feel like, or I think, that there is no volume. You see these words, I feel like or I think, but I do not know. Volume can come in at any single time. It can come in with the next candle opening, even though the last candle closed and it showed that there was no volume in the market. The candle was small. All of a sudden you see a candle go 30, 40 pips off the rip just like that. And that's the nature of the market, is it's unpredictable. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So you have to take those trades. I know it's going to hurt losing them and it's going to feel like they were bad decisions at first. But once you understand and you realize that on the markets, there's no such thing as a good or a bad decision. You just have to make decisions according to your strategy and to your plan and let the numbers play out. Because you never know which one is going to hit take profit. You might see the most perfect setup and the largest amount of volume with candles about to go crazy. And next thing you see the next candle open and it's all going according to your plan. Next thing you see the next candle open, you take the trade and price doesn't even move for the next 30 minutes. but the previous candle had like 30, 40 pips to it. It moved 30, 40 pips. So clearly there were people in the market, there was volume. You take the trade, the next candle opens. 30 minutes you wait, 1 hour. It's barely moved 5 pips. Eventually comes to stop you out. Or it moves in your direction. But you see that you cannot feel or think the markets. You just have to do what you see and execute on what you see. You have to be like a robot. That's why there's a lot of this algorithm trading and all of that. But with the human touch, it's going to be even better. Because with the robot, it's going to strictly stick to the plan. If you tell it to open that trade as soon as the previous candle closed, then it's going to open it. But with the human touch, you're able to wait a bit, understand that there's a possibility that when the next candle opens, it's going to pull back. Maybe it'll pull back 7, 8, 9 pips. You can take your trade from there and ultimately have a larger stop loss and more room for error. But a bot is not going to do that. That's only going to come with the human touch. But the human touch does not know when exactly to enter the trade. It's going to be changing every single time. So there's no consistency. But in that case, I do not mind that there's no consistency, because it does not require consistency, because every single time that the candle opens, it opens in a different way. Sometimes the drawdown is going to be 2 pips. Sometimes there's going to be no drawdown. Sometimes the drawdown is going to be 8 pips. Sometimes the drawdown is going to be 15 pips. So you never know. But in that case where you can use your human eye to look at things, then you can make a sound decision based off of the way that that candle opens. As opposed to a robot, it's just going to take the trade immediately. Even though maybe that candle, as soon as it opened, it drew back 10 pips. Already like that, within 5 seconds, you're stopped out. But then from that 10 pips, it goes back up and moves and actually completes the move that you anticipated. But those are things that you can only assess with the human touch, with the human eye. A robot cannot do that. A robot can only listen to the instructions that you give to it. It cannot think for itself. And that's why people are always going to have the advantage when it comes to day trading, because of those small, minute details and decisions that you have to make that a robot cognitively cannot make, can only be instructed to do, cannot make its own decisions. So you need to get it in your head right now, man. This is just some, not even advice. This is something that you just need to fucking learn how to do. It's a skill. You need to learn how to take trades all the fucking time. Regardless of what you think or what you feel, you need to take based off what you see. And it's a skill set. Because there are many times where you're going to take these trades and you're going to lose. And you're going to think twice. But once you start to think twice, you're fucking yourself over in the long term. And you're fucking over your profitability. A very good, I'll leave a link in the description below of a very good a video where this is described by the author of Trading in the Zone. And he gives an analogy of a casino. And ultimately, the example that he gives with the casino is that the casino never knows which individual is going to win money at any point in time. But, of course, they have a clear system and a plan in place that guarantees that by the end of the year, they are always going to be in profit, regardless of how well one individual might do based on one day or 1 week or a month or whatever. Or a certain number of individuals having a great month, week, gambling, whatever. They understand that because of the plan and the strategy that they have in place, it's almost impossible for them to end up on the losing side. Even though at times there are going to be people going to the casino, they're going to win 100,000 just like that. Someone might win $1 million. That's $1 million gone in one day. But over the course of the year, you could end up $5 million in profit, even though sometime throughout the year you paid someone $1 million. But then that's just the expense of doing business. And when you're in these high stakes industries where people are risking a lot, the price is high. The expenses are high. So you just have to get used to it and adjust to it. And understand that if you have a good and solid plan, regardless of those expenses being high, you can still come out with a profit. That's just the way that it is. I even love the way that he said that when you lose a trade, don't look at it as if you lost or you won. Look at it as if you've just made a business decision, which you have. You have made a business decision. And understand that from each business decision that you make, it's going to be something that's going to benefit you, or it's going to be a cost. It's going to be an expense. But it's never a loss. It's not that you lost. You just paid an expense. You are covering a cost. And the cost to do business, that's what you have to do, man. So don't kick yourself over because you made a loss on this or on that. Don't start hesitating to take the trades because you made a loss here and there. Trust me when I say, over the long term, if you stick to your strategy and execute it perfectly, once you know that you have a profitable plan, there's no way that you're going to lose. The only thing that's going to make you lose once you have a profitable strategy and a plan is your psychology. But for me, after gathering all this experience throughout this time, I've finally seen another piece to the puzzle where I was getting it all wrong. And hopefully, if there's anyone out there going through the same thing or same problem or at the same stage in trading as me, hopefully this can help you and give you insight on how to overcome this problem. Because I honestly just thought about it, and then just seeing that video from Trading in the Zone and understanding that mentality, I feel like I'm partly fixed in terms of my psychology and my mentality, because now I know that I have to take every single trade, even the ones that to me do not look like they're going to be profitable trades, because more often than not, I've paper traded them and they go and they might take profit. And it'll be a very big move for me, because my strategy does not require me to win a lot. One win can overcome 3 losses, 4 losses. That's just how I trade. So now I know that I have to take every single trade, regardless of what I think or I feel about it, and let the system do its thing. So please, guys, give your plan, give your strategy a chance to prove itself to you. The strategy that you probably spend months tinkering on. And just know that all that tinkering that you've done was for a reason. The reason why you're at the point that you are right now and you make the decisions that you make is because of all of the corrections you've been making in the past. So if you've gotten to that point where you have your strategy, do not change it. Because I'm telling you, don't let a poor mentality kill your plan. Because I'm telling you, what kills a person's plan in most cases is the fact that after all the tinkering and after all the fixing and the improvements and all of that, for you to finally come up to your final plan, Once it stops working for a little bit, you change. Meanwhile, you're not realizing that on a subconscious or unconscious level, every single day that you showed up to the charts and you corrected a mistake that you made the previous day, all of that was to lead up to the moment that you're in right now. So if you now go and start trying a new strategy and a new plan, after spending all of that time correcting yourself, making corrections, then you're honestly just fucking yourself over, man. Trust your brain. Believe in your intellect. So that you understand that every time that you made a mistake and you corrected it, that was you fixing the plan and you coming up with a good plan. It's not something that can be done in one day, but it takes time. It takes a lot of tinkering. And you're not thinking about it, thinking that, oh no, I'm making the best plan. No. You're just correcting mistakes. That's all that you're doing. And ultimately, once you correct enough mistakes, you have a successful, profitable trading system. So don't self-sabotage, guys. Stay in the game, stay consistent. OnlyTraders is the name.